Hey, you might want to put on a helmet so it don't make a mess when I blow your mind.
Hey, how you doing today? Name's Gabriel, so make a move out the way. Hey, who you trying to be? I can barely walk straight, so don't follow me.
The finest insanity on your radio dial. The Flipside Radio Show.
Hit me.
It's the Flipside podcast. We are downloadable and available either on iTunes or Blogspot or on YouTube, where you can watch the video and see what we're talking about, because we do bring up websites. I'm JD.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is episode 399. I don't think that cake is coming.
No, we might have to find an ice cream cake or something. Like now we're broadcasting from a bedroom.
Yes.
In my basement.
Yes.
And we'll see if that just changes the vibe. It's kind of relaxed. I'm leaning on a table that I pulled out of the laundry room. We have no official real setup.
No.
We just kind of do our thing.
But, I mean, really, you think about it, all the years of the Flipside has been in existence. We've always kind of just worked with what we had, and even still, like, we get new equipment in, and we'd be like the beta test for the radio station that we were with. Mm-hmm. And Christ, that was nothing more than absolute true when we were working at CFUR, because they weren't ready for us.
They didn't really know how to do talk radio there.
No.
So we kind of had to figure it out for them.
Yeah.
And equipment problems. The thing about when we're doing the podcast now is if we have equipment issues, we can edit that shit out. But we had to kind of do our thing on the fly, and both our listeners appreciated that when we just sort of made stuff up as we go.
My mom still listens.
Well, she's one. I don't know who the other one is yet, but I'm sure
Jim.
There's another.
It's Big Jim when he's not here. He's making sure that we don't talk about him. Or when we do talk about him, at least we're accurate.
He doesn't even tune in on the right day, but now it doesn't matter anyways, because it's downloadable.
Exactly. And when we record it, well, we're the only ones that know. So, I usually start off the show with an update as to what's going on in personal life and whatever, but
we did that last week.
Yeah, I know, but not really a whole heck of a lot has changed. I'm happy. I'm comfortable. That's saying a lot considering my prior situation. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I got into this before, but you never really get to appreciate sleep until you're deprived for months.
And you get to do it again.
I get to do it again. The best night's sleep was the first night's sleep I had in your house, because that was like the first time in a long ass time where I was able to get more than 6 hours uninterrupted sleep.
And it's a quiet, relaxing atmosphere. The living room is like being in a cabin.
Oh yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. So it was beautiful.
You can see the appeal as to why we wanted this place.
Yeah, and I love the story about the fact that you actually spent portions of your childhood here, because this was like your childhood friend's house.
Yeah, when I was probably grade 2, 3, I don't even remember what it was. Mm-hmm. Maybe even before then. Mm-hmm. Kindergarten, grade 1. So that long ago, almost 30 years, I was hanging out here as a kid.
Yeah.
And the basement's changed a bit. They've done some updates and added rooms and finished it more, but it's still the same house.
And that's cool. The fact that you can actually remember that.
We don't keep bees though. The kid's really? Dad was a beekeeper as a hobby. I think he was a teacher or something.
Yeah.
And a beekeeper on the side. They're gone. Nobody saved those bees.
That's a very specific, and you have to be passionate about that trade. I would think.
I would think so. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, it's actually kind of cool that you remember that, because quite frankly, off the top of my head, I can think of maybe 2, maybe 4, just off the top of my head, of childhood homes of friends, and 3 of them are in the Lower Mainland. 3 of them are in Surrey, and 1 of them is here in Prince George. And that's only because it's a beautiful log house just off of Old Giscombe.
Mm.
And they had a trampoline in the backyard, and when it got too cold, they would actually pull the trampoline into their 3-car garage, and then they were like a moving company or something like that, so they would surround the trampoline with all these boxes so that
Packing peanuts in boxes.
Exactly. So that we wouldn't like crack our head open on the concrete floor.
Well, that's the kind of stuff you remember. Like, I remember probably more than 3 or 4 friends' houses, but I mean, I would spend a lot of time at each one. Like, I'd kind of have my phases where this is my grade 2 best friend, and because we moved a bit when I was a kid, so
yeah,
you always have to learn to make new friends and be social and stuff. So
right,
I'd remember, the house that I'd spend all the time at, and then actually I'm in the neighborhood of most of those houses that I remember. So it's really not that bad.
I remember when we were coming back, we were going for a drive or something like that, and you were like, I know that house, and I know that house, and I know that house.
Yeah, we made a dump run, and it turned out it was not open.
Yeah,
on a Monday afternoon, like I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the little tour of this was my childhood.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a beautiful, wonderful, quiet house, and it's actually surprisingly quiet considering how close you are to one of the main roads, and like it's like one of 3 ways to get out of the airport or to the airport, and it's still like nice house, dude.
Thanks. It was scooped on us the first time we looked at it, but fortunately that guy's wife decided that she didn't want the place after he met her, and she became his wife, and so we were the beneficiaries of that, and a few plumbing problems we had to work out, but we're all good now.
Nice. Chris Bennett, the dude who's he's the Joker. He likes to portray the Joker during any sort of cosplay, dress him up type things. He's selling his house, and he actually messaged me and said, "Hey, I know that you come over and you really love our place, so go to the bank and see if you can get a get a mortgage and you could buy the house." I was like, that's a great idea, but 2 problems with that. 1, my work is not consistent enough, and 2, I don't think I'm going to be around for like another 1.5 years. So
yeah, if you have big plans to move on up in the business you're in, which is kind of like this business,
yeah,
there's
what's the point of buying a house?
There's no point in buying, because it's a lot easier to get out of a rental than it is to sell a house. Usually.
True. Having said that, it's kind of cool. Not quite as cool as I'd hoped, but I'm actually going to be moving back into the apartment building that I was in before I moved out to live with my now ex-girlfriend. So it was kind of neat because after everything went down, of course, I called up the landlord and said, I want to come home. And she's like, oh, well, you might be lucky. You might actually get to live in the exact same apartment you lived before. But, as it turns out, the person who was in that apartment decided they wanted to stay. But having said that, found just as nice of an apartment in the same building, and hiring a moving company because 1, I'll be working, and 2, fuck that shit. There's no elevator.
The 3rd floor of that place sucks balls, and I'd be the only one that shows up again.
Yeah, well, the mad scientist did show up, but he
did, but he had other things to do, because the guy with the family showed up to help out for a bit before he had to tend to family things, but everybody else just no-showed.
Exactly, and
assholes. Don't edit that out. I want it. Anybody that listens is going to hear what I think. Why would I edit that out? Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, gonna actually for the first time in my life gonna hire a moving company because it'd just be easier. Me working for the radio station, I've made no bones about it. Like, and anyone who knows me knows that broadcast media is my passion. It's the only thing I've been really shooting for like, just shy of 31 years. And that's odd coming from a guy who's 37 years old, but I mean, really, I became passionate about this industry when I was a kid. So I'm not going to give up hours for anything if I could help it. So
Especially moving.
Exactly. Moving company just makes sense.
And it's funny, I was probably, well, we lived actually just across the highway from where I am now. So grade 6.
Yeah.
How old are you in grade 6? 11?
Actually,
even before, in this very house, we used to do, almost 30 years ago, record our own little radio show on a tape player. Like in the room next door where we did the first, I don't know what we would call this place. The first My House broadcast or recording. We did our own show there. We intro music and all that kind of stuff, but it was more talk than it was the music.
Well, essentially what we do now.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's one of those things you don't think about until you just get prompted and you think about it.
Yeah.
And then, after that, across the highway, when we lived in the trailer park over there, I had my little recorder and I would do shows there. The tapes are long gone. I know they've been smashed and thrown out, which it would be kind of nice to have that kind of thing just to see.
Appear back through the window tape thing.
Yeah, like Howard Stern has tapes because his dad was a recording engineer, but he has tapes of when he was a kid trying to be Mr. Radio Guy and dicking around and basically doing what he's still doing in his 60s.
Yeah. Kevin Smith, actually, same thing. He has tapes and recordings and video and cassettes of himself when he was younger, being a would-be film director, producer, creator. And he actually throws, every once in a while, he throws some of those tapes onto his own podcast, and him and Scott Mosier will laugh at his emo ridiculousness.
That's awesome. I think the biggest difference, I got into obviously playing around with that stuff is I just didn't have the same drive that obviously Kevin Smith or you have to actually pursue it. I considered it in high school. I did some job shadowing with one of your current coworkers still.
Right.
I made him feel old the other day by reminding him that I shadowed him 20 years ago almost.
And he remembered you. He honestly remembered you.
Well, I'd see him around the ballpark still, so we're still buddy. But I wanted to do it. I just never pulled the trigger on going and getting the school done or anything like that. And fortunately, I just kind of fell ass backwards into this through baseball again.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I mean, there's people out there like Miss Carol from the country station who has no formal training, just life experience, and then was taught the proper things from the proper people. Mm-hmm. And then now she's like the station manager for the country station here in town. Yeah, and
maybe one day down the road I'll weasel my way into that. But the thing, I think I can talk and I can entertain and whatever. Here I am using my words. But I just need to learn how to do the technical side of it, which I've seen some of the monkeys that do it.
You've watched me do it.
I've watched you do it, and I've watched the other ones that do it on other stations, and it really doesn't seem like something I can't pick up.
No. And you know what? You and I have both, we've gone into this before. We've operated much more technical and much more dangerous equipment than a bloody soundboard. So
that's true.
I think you're more than capable of doing it. Just need actually time on hand type thing, right? So, yeah. You know what? Christ, if I had any word or any say in it whatsoever or win the lottery, you'd have a very successful broadcast career. Or at least I'd be doing my damnedest to make sure that happened. Because it's fun.
It is fun. And maybe one day, once I have everything straightened away in operation running itself at my current job, maybe I'll take on something on the side. Or, once you move away, I'll have my own recording setup down here that I won't have to put away in boxes all the time because I can have it set up.
Not in boxes. It's actually in it's kind of a half box over here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
A crate.
I was thinking too, is my first time I was doing any sort of broadcast was when I discovered what this all was about. The story about my dad bringing home the microphone and setting it to the frequency on the home stereo. And then I remember being nervous as all hell, but wanting to read the lunchtime announcements when I was in kindergarten over the PA system. It was a Katie Woodward, and I was scared. I was nervous, right? Because there was a lot of big words on that page. But the vice principal was right there, and he was helping me out. And I remember after that, my dad found it was like a self-contained recorder about, I don't know, 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet long, and it had a big speaker in it. Maybe it wasn't 2 feet long. Maybe I was just a young kid.
It seemed big because you were so small.
Yeah. But it had a speaker in it, and you throw the cassette in it, and you can play cassettes or you can record. And I wouldn't put that thing down. Like, I remember at one point in time, I was trying to do bike jumps over it. And, like, I smoked that thing a couple times with my BMX. And, credit to its manufacturing, it survived. And I was recording tape after tape after tape, but I would run out of tapes, and then I'd just re-record over something else.
Mm-hmm.
So again, like, that would have been kind of neat if I could track those down, but I think those are long gone.
Yeah.
Oh well.
If I could turn back time.
Well, we'll segue off of that. Something kind of sort of like turning back time. Probably a lot of people would be honest to admit or be embarrassed to admit, but Golden Girls was a really good TV series.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still to this day, like, you catch it on some of the retro TV channels on cable, or if you wanted to, really a diehard, you can definitely like download it. But a couple of New Yorkers are backing and trying to create a Golden Girls inspired restaurant. The classic TV show ran from 1985 to 1992 on NBC, and I would love to see what they're doing with this. There's a couple of pictures, but a few things. Okay, that's Blanche's dress, I'm guessing.
Yeah, one of her war get-ups.
Yeah. And okay, so they got pictures.
Even as a kid, I remember watching the show and just thinking she was the dirtiest old bag. Like, there was nothing subtle about it.
No, and she really was. Oh, look at that! They have a whole bunch of memorabilia too. That's cool.
That is cool.
I think it's a great idea. Like, that would be a reason. Oh yeah, some of the awards. That'd be a reason to go to New York for that. Now, do you remember there was a spinoff?
What was the spinoff?
The spinoff was 3 of them invested in a hotel.
Oh, I don't remember that then.
It was like called Golden Palace or something like that, or something along that
I
line.
think that's a Chinese food place.
It is, but I remember their...
We're looking for a sponsor.
I remember their handyman, the in-hotel monkey, wrench thrower, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
was Cheech.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I think that I would remember something like that, but
Yeah.
I don't. So the 3, obviously not the mom. The other 3 were in on the hotel.
You know what? I'm gonna have to find it now because, it's just a total tangent. But Golden Girls. I can spell. Really?
Sure you can. Spin-off. Yeah. I remember that when I'd stay...
Golden Palace.
Oh, there it is. I'd stay at my grandma's place quite often. And around bedtime, we'd always end up watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And then I'd be in bed and I'd hear the Golden Girls theme out in the living room. So I'm pretty sure it was on around 8 o'clock.
So, oh wow, okay. I had, yeah, I remember the theme off, like, I'm pretty sure it's etched in the back of my mind. But looking at the cast list, everyone but B. Arthur.
Oh, okay.
And they had Don Cheadle. I can't believe it. So it was, yeah.
He was Tim Meadows before Tim Meadows was Tim Meadows.
The American sitcom produced a spin-off that aired for one season.
And they used the same theme song.
They did.
Cheesy.
So I'm wondering, like, B. Arthur her character must have like moved on, did something like that, because she certainly didn't die.
Although I think she was the first one that did.
Wasn't she? Was she?
I think so. I think Estelle Getty outlived 2 of them.
Estelle Getty.
Who played the mom.
Yeah, died in 2008. Rue died in 2010.
Oh, okay.
Betty White, still alive. We know that. Because, my goodness, she's just made out of iron or steel or something.
She made some sort of a deal with the devil.
B. Arthur. Is it just B-E-A?
I think so.
B. Arthur. B. Arthur died. Nope. B. Arthur died in 2009.
Oh. Well, I thought that she... Oh, I think what it was she was not... Even though she played the oldest one on the show, she wasn't actually the oldest on the cast.
I think so.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Something like that. So anyway. So yeah, Golden Palace started 3 out of 4 with Don Cheadle and Cheech.
He's got to hate... Like, is there not another picture of Don Cheadle they could put on Wikipedia?
It is Wikipedia.
Because he looks like he's scared and about to shit his pants.
This photos for Wikipedia? Hurry up.
I would highly recommend, if anybody hears this, to Google Don Cheadle's Wikipedia page and tell me that's not the most ridiculous picture. Like,
I'll put it up on the YouTube channel, but holy crap. You're not joking.
All right, I forgot you can do video with this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this picture right here, look at that. Like, is that not the most ridiculous?
He looks like he's holding...
Poor guy.
He's holding back a shark right there.
Although that's probably the only picture of Don Cheadle where he doesn't look like Tim Meadows.
Or War Machine.
And I know that I'm stealing shtick from Camino and Rich with the Don Cheadle, Tim Meadows thing. I just want to acknowledge that. Yes, I totally took that idea from them. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll be back in studio one day.
Ever heard of Eric Church?
Country-ish singer.
Country-ish singer, yeah.
They call it country, but it's like the whole...
New age.
What Miley Cyrus was to country, or not her. There's somebody else that was...
Like Big and Rich?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stadium.
Yeah.
Stadium country. It's not talking about trucks and jeans and beaches and cookouts.
It is, but not in a sad way.
Yeah, exactly. Eric Church ups war against scalpers, cancels 25,000 tickets. This is actually a predominant issue, and so many companies out there are doing their best to stop it. And Eric Church has taken upon himself to try to get tickets to his genuine fans. The situation is, and it's been documented, that there's bots out there that you can set up with one or multiple credit cards that as soon as the box office opens online, boom, it'll buy as many tickets as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then scalpers can go out there and like charge 2, 3, 10 times the amount of the actual ticket price. So,
which is why places like Ticketmaster have tried doing the verify that you're a person, and they don't put it in any sort of a regular font, the keyword that you got it. But they obviously the bots can figure that out.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of trying to stay one step ahead of the scalpers.
Yeah. So Eric Church took it upon himself to try to identify like a good chunk of the tickets, because it's pretty obvious. You would see like boom, and like a stupid amount was all purchased at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, not saying that he didn't accidentally cancel some tickets from like legitimate purchase people, but still, he canceled 25,000 tickets and then turned around and tried to sell them on his own website. And you had to go through like a process
mm-hmm.
to try to prove as best as possible that you were human. And he's like other artists have tried to do this, but like this is the first time that an artist has done this on such a giant scale.
Mm-hmm.
Like, credit to him too, because the scalpers are just, I mean, guys out there can genuinely make a living doing this crap.
Oh yeah, and I mean, yeah, they're trying to make a living doing that, but they're not doing any of their own work. Like, it's not quite stealing, because obviously you pay for the product and turn around and sell it just as any retailer would.
Yeah.
But these retailers have set prices that manufacturers or suppliers give them, not set, but they have a suggested price range that they have to sell at. These guys can just sell them for whatever they can get, and drop the price as you get closer to event time and tickets aren't selling or whatever. So,
have you ever purchased something and then tried to resell it for a higher price?
I don't think so.
I can recall doing it on purpose once, and it was the launch day for the PlayStation 4.
Oh, okay.
It's back when you and I were working in the oil field.
I think I remember you telling me that you bought 2 of them.
Yeah.
One to sell.
Yeah. And I mean, I ended up making like not much. I think I made like a $75 profit. Threw it up on eBay, highest bidder, blah, blah, blah. Covered shipping and handling. No big deal. And I gave it a shot. And I wasn't expecting like 3 times the amount. But still, I mean, I did make, like I said, about $75. And I wasn't trying, like, I didn't like set the price at an insane amount, right? And I couldn't either, because there were other people, like-minded people, doing the exact same thing, just seeing if something comes of it. So I set it at, like, I think when the PlayStation 4 initially came out, it was like $450 Canadian. And the lucky winner was some guy in, I think somewhere in Manitoba. And like I said, I just left it at like a bidding war, just have at her. And then once the timer let out, then, like I said, I made like $75. So not the same as scalping, but still, like, it was interesting. It was an experiment. I was willing to take a hit. So
yeah, try something different. Like, there's people that do that on large scale with tickets, and that's how they make their money. Yeah.
Smash Room. I asked you about this earlier. And no, it's not a room where you take
some random home from the club.
Exactly.
Jersey Shore reference for my wife there. Not that she listens to this shit, but
she might. If now that you made
tell her that I talked about her.
Exactly.
She'll have to.
Right around the 28-minute mark. Smash Room is something that at first I thought it was like, oh, that's cool. Okay, so there's an article about it in Detroit. But it turns out there's a Smash Room in Vancouver and Edmonton and Toronto and Regina. And it's literally, you go in full coveralls and protective eye like gear, goggles, whatever, and then they give you a crap ton of whatever you want, or provided that you pass some sort of inspection and security check, you can bring in your own stuff and just beat the hell out of it. They have sledgehammers, bats, crowbars, whatever you want. And it's just basically a destruction room. And $10 gets you 2 place settings. $18 gets you 4 place settings, like they're talking about dishes and whatever, right? So chances are these are provided. And probably different rules from the one I saw in the States. This is for Edmonton. But still, it's just like, I think it's kind of odd that there's these rooms that you can rent to just wreck things.
Well, I'm actually, now that we see it, I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't happened sooner. Because people, like, it is fun to break stuff.
Yeah.
As long as it's not stuff that you're going to need or that somebody else is going to need or whatever. Like, when something, an appliance no longer works, I mean, who hasn't taken something out the backyard and just hammered on it?
Yeah, maybe. Was it Denver? I saw it. An anger room.
That's funny. Google anger room, the second thing that comes up. Are there any anger rooms in Denver? There's obviously somebody in Colorado that has to unleash the beast somewhere.
Anger room gift cards. How does an anger room work? Sign up, Choose from 3 packages. I need a break, 5 minutes. Lash out, 15 minutes. Demolition, 25 minutes. $75 for 25 minutes. Show up 10 minutes before your appointment to be equipped with safety gear like goggles, full suits, full suits to protect your clothes. Bash shit up. Take breather, maybe a few drinks. Enjoy the rest of your day. Oh my God. And then they take, of course, donations. We accept computers, laptops, printers, mirrors, tables, chairs, dishes, mannequins, frames, vases, CDs, tapes, sofas, cubicles. That makes sense. Sheetrock and more. That's... Yeah. We're really reading the comments. Are you still open? Sure are.
That was from 2 years ago, so maybe it did come out sooner than we were. Just that far behind the times.
Maybe.
Or maybe we recorded this in September 2015.
Maybe.
What did we talk about before? I don't know. We're trying to sell this as this is a new thing.
This is, oh my goodness, so new. We should have thought of this before these people. They beat us like by a month.
Oh, I can't believe that Obama's going to be a president.
You're going too far back.
Too far back. Shit.
Clinton. No, we were talking about...
Is Caitlyn Jenner a woman yet?
Yes. Caitlyn Jenner is a woman. But...
In 2015?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Though.
But you were talking about the fact that you thought Hillary Clinton would make a good president. Yes. I do remember that.
Did I say that, or did I say I think she would be a president?
I think you said, yeah, she'll do fine.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Dropping a hint.
That sounds like something I'd say.
Okay, all to, like, I'm sure it'd be fun to smash a few things. Why not? Oh, for crying out loud.
Stupid
Shut up.
YouTube ads.
They're not paying.
So. We're on YouTube. No,
yes, we are.
Stupid YouTube ads. What are they going to do? Shut us down?
I doubt it.
No one's going to listen to this. Tag YouTube.
So Smash Room. That's different. I just find it moderately amusing that there's people out there. There's people out there that are willing to pay for this stuff. But then again, I go to the gym. So I'm paying someone to go to their place of business and lift heavy things and put down heavy things and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
So...
You got it all backwards. I get people to pay me to do that.
That's true.
And I can pick and choose when I do that.
That's very true. Nintendo Switch. This is the new Nintendo system.
A couple of my guys have those. I haven't actually watched the gameplay and stuff yet, but they're using it portably in the break room or in the office when they're between flights.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's about the size of it's smaller than a tablet and bigger than a cell phone. And it is legitimately the brand new Nintendo system. They've stopped production a long time ago on the Nintendo Wii. They just recently stopped all production on the Nintendo Wii U. And now they're going headlong into Nintendo Switch. And it's kind of like, it's shocking because the Nintendo Switch was only announced a few short months ago, and then boom, here we go with the system. It's released to the public. Like when the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One were announced, we still had to wait like a full year for them to come out. But
Nintendo doesn't like to tip their hand too early. They like to make sure they're almost onto something.
Exactly. So with the Nintendo Switch, I mean, it's a new system. Graphically, it is on par with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and this is kind of par for the course for Nintendo, because ever since everything's moved up from ever since the Wii U came out, it's noticeable that the Wii U or the Wii and the Wii U has been graphically one generation behind Sony and Microsoft.
And really cartoony.
Right? So at this point in time, it's taken Nintendo It's taken Nintendo almost 4 years to catch up technology-wise to the current systems of the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Now they went fully portable, and the docks that goes with Nintendo Switch does nothing but just hold it in place, and then it provides the connection between the actual Nintendo Switch and if you wanted to hook it up to a TV.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the two controllers on the side which connect to the actual Nintendo Switch, which can work, as just one player playing, or you remove the controllers and now you have two independent controllers playing on one system, which is kind of neat, I guess. It's unique.
The theory of it is good. I haven't actually tried it myself, but the idea behind something that you can everything's in one basket, so to speak.
Yes.
You can take it with you wherever. I remember it used to be such a hassle to pack up my Sega Genesis to take between my mom's and my dad's house or over to a friend's for a sleepover. We had a separate little duffel bag just for that kind of stuff. Like, this is all just one little, not quite in your pocket because it's a little big, but
if you had baggy jeans, I guess. So, yeah. The Nintendo has always been more leaning towards portable anyway. When's the last time you've seen any sort of update portable-wise for Sony or Microsoft? Right? The PSP.
Yeah.
Right?
It's been a while.
So, but you had the Game Boy Advance, the 3DS, the 2DS, and all of its other offshoots and whatever. So this kind of sort of makes sense towards Nintendo. Instead of a console, they now have this. But it's really difficult for me to try to praise the system because it's already come with, in my opinion, so many issues. Like the internal memory for Nintendo Switch is 32 gigs. Now you'd have to allot anywhere from 4 to 6 gigs for the operating system to take up space. So that gives you, I don't know, we'll go worst case scenario. That gives you 26 gigs worth of space.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 26 gigs worth of space, that's anywhere from 1 to 3 really good quality games.
Yeah.
In the memory.
And that's it.
And then you have the space. It has little spots where you can put an SD card into it, but you have to buy your own SD card. And then you have the game cartridges themselves, which go in, fine, it doesn't take up space, but if you don't download the game into the actual system, then, do you have the small problems of I hope I don't lose that little cartridge, because if I do, then I'm screwed. Or, the load times might be slower. And did you hear the whole thing about Nintendo purposely made the Nintendo Switch cartridges taste horrible?
Taste horrible?
Taste horrible.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Okay, so they're about that big, right? So,
kids don't eat them?
Exactly. That's exactly it. They added some sort of chemical compound, non-toxic, but it's supposed to just make it taste just deplorable, vile, right? So next time you go to work,
can I lick your game?
Just the cartridge, not the Switch, just the cartridge, because it's supposed to be rancid. And there's people have gone on YouTube to video themselves tasting these Nintendo cartridges, and they a few of them have gotten near sick. So you have that, but then there is no room, and there's no there's no space for or any sort of program for Netflix. There's no online browser. There's no reverse compatibility, and the how you and I can meet each other on the PlayStation. I just have to look for your gamer tag. You have to look for my gamer tag.
Mm-hmm.
Simple enough. There's no gamer tag system with Nintendo. You have to use a friend buddy code, which is anywhere from a 12 to 19 character randomly generated.
That you have to enter every time.
Exactly. So you got that. And the online store isn't going to be active until late May, early June. What the hell are they doing?
So they didn't have all their shit lined up, obviously, before the release.
Yeah. So...
Which makes you think that, they waited till the hardware was ready to go before they made any sort of announcement that they were releasing it, but they didn't really have all the peripheral stuff ready to go, obviously.
Yeah. And just looking at this, Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is the big launch day video game for the Nintendo Switch, takes up 13.4 gigs.
Mm-hmm.
So that is half of the remaining memory space if you download it.
And it's still shitty quality when you put it on a big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a big 1080p screen, it becomes fairly obvious that many of the textures have been heavily compressed. Wow. So they essentially sold a very restricted tablet with a couple of dongles on the side.
Basically, like, like I can get more for games and entertainment on an iPad that are probably just as entertaining.
Yeah. And then, like, somewhere around here, I have a controller, which is the size of, I want to say a little bit smaller than a PlayStation 4 controller, but maybe about the size of like a
PlayStation 2 controllers?
No, it's a Super Nintendo controller.
Oh, okay.
About the size of a Super Nintendo controller. And it works on Bluetooth. So I could, like my phone or an iPad or any sort of Android tablet, I could be playing video games, music and controller in better quality than this thing. Oh, and then the last thing is the battery life.
Not good.
The battery life will last you maybe 2 to 4 hours, depending on what type of game you're playing. If you're playing a game that is like high definition and takes up a lot of processing power, you maybe have 2 hours.
So the kids will have to be plugged in the whole road trip, otherwise you're going to hear them.
There is no back illumination with the screen. So if you're out in the middle of the sun, like on a sunny day, you have to stay shaded. Otherwise, you can't bloody see the screen. My phone has more capabilities than the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Shut up.
YouTube ads.
More of them. So, like, I hate to say it, but I don't see myself buying a Nintendo Switch anytime soon.
No, maybe when it's a retro system.
Yeah.
Pick one up at Game Quest or something.
Right beside the Sega Dreamcast. I have one.
Not sure if it got wet in the flood, but I don't think it really matters.
No, it was. I know where it is too. It's actually there's 4 containers, clear containers with a black lid, and one of the Sega Dreamcast actually fits snugly in one of those containers. So, like, it would have to be submerged to be an issue.
Water wasn't that deep.
There you go. How a blogger in Ohio discovered a runner in Florida cheated. Let me try that again. How a blogger in Ohio discovered a runner in Florida cheating in a half marathon.
Were they using that Map My Run app and going way too fast to be running?
Kind of. Okay, so I'll probably just generalize this. So there was this woman who was a part of a marathon who did quite well. Didn't come in first, wasn't that foolish, but did all right. And then crossed the finish line and was using the running app, right? So everything was fine and dandy, but then when she went to go enter in her physical time, it didn't show up manually. Apparently, this is a new thing with marathons where you're either tracked via GPS or you can do it manually with your checkpoints, whatever sort of device you have. But she didn't do it right away, and then she went back to do the checkpoints in manually, but even still, that didn't make any sense. And someone figured out that there was a photo. Like, the photo's not on this article, but the photo was at such clear definition that her watch, which showed her heart rate and her distance traveled and speed and whatever, didn't show that of someone who ran a full marathon. It showed someone who biked a marathon. And then there was something else too that also got her caught. Murphy began to examine the officials' results.
Minute and a half faster miles for the last half of the race.
Where'd you read that?
Right in the middle of the screen right now. Her pace during the first 10 kilometers was 7:09 per mile. During the last 11 kilometers, it increased to 5:25.
Like, she must have been.
People don't usually get faster after 10K.
Seeking further data, she turned to her account on Strava, a social media app where runners and cyclists post their times. She had posted, but rather than let the app pull her info from GPS, she manually entered the time, distance, and pace. Yeah. Stranger still, later that day, she posted a full entry showing more information: her path, splits, cadence, heart rate. Through it, showed that she completed the entire course. Something struck this person from Ohio, Murphy. He added, she had this labeled as a run, and the total time almost matches her original time for a half marathon. The cadence data is more consistent with what you would expect on a bike and not a run. So yeah, like, this woman wasn't dumb enough to like go crossing the finish line first place, but still she tried to cross the finish line in moderate placing. This person by the name of Jane went on to social media, I think it was Instagram, it looks like Instagram, and said, "I made a horrible choice in Fort Lauderdale half marathon on Sunday, February 12th, or 20th, sorry. I wasn't feeling well, so I cut the course and headed to the finish line. I got swept away in the moment and pretended I ran the entire course when in fact I cheated and should have been disqualified. Even worse, not only did I steal the award from the true well-deserved runners, finishers, but also proceeded to bike the course afterward with my GPS watch to cover my wrongdoings. I was an idiot. What an idiot I was. I admit my foolishness, was extremely ashamed, blah, blah, blah." Okay, so she went on this on social media, and this has since been removed. Here's the problem, is that had she not been caught,
she wouldn't have said anything. I cheated and should have been should have disqualified myself, but she didn't. Yeah. Until she got caught.
So yeah. Now, of course, like, they had to track her down and strip her of her award because she did it actually fairly well according. What was it? Where did she place? I wonder if it's in here. After all, she finished 1 hour, 21 minutes, meaning she ran a blazing 6-minute, 15-mile women's world record.
It was an hour and 5.
Hour 5. So
she was just a really good time.
Really good time. Yeah.
But slow if you're riding a bike.
Definitely dragging her feet. She was riding a bike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought that was just a silly story. And again, one of those things like, well, if it wasn't for those darn kids.
Yeah. Would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids. Zoinks.
Yeah. Did you watch the Oscars?
Nope. We don't even have TV here.
Right.
I heard about the Oscars.
Yeah, who didn't? So, the backtrack story, which I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on because I was actually driving truck at the time, was all these people were freaking out and flipping out, and like all these comments on Twitter and Instagram and whatnot of, "Whoa, holy crap, I can't believe that just happened. Wow, Steve Harvey's off the hook." And I'm trying to figure out, like, what the hell is going on?
Who invited Steve Harvey to the Oscars?
No one invited Steve Harvey.
That was the biggest question I had.
Yeah.
And then it all made sense.
Yes.
Columbia.
Yeah. So Warren Beatty was actually really getting blamed and reamed out for what happened, but
He tried to stop
he
it.
tried to stop it. And then there's the controversy about Warren Beatty and Annette Bening arguing as to who gets to read the winner of Best Picture. And so
She won.
she kind of.
Or no, it wasn't.
She got to read what was on the card, but it was the wrong card.
Yeah.
Right? So there's that. Now, the update of this entire story is the two people who were in charge of the cards, one of them being, I think, one of the higher ups for the company behind the people for, what's the company?
It's an accounting firm.
Yeah, the Oscars.
Can't remember what the name is, though.
Accounting firm. PwC. Price Waterhouse Cooper.
Right.
Yes. So,
They will not be invited back.
holy crap. Okay, that's new. Oscars will no longer work with PwC accountants involved. So, those are the two people right there. Skip ad, I don't care. We are looking at a photo of Brian Cullinan and Martha Ruiz.
Ruiz?
So, Brian is one of the higher ups for this firm.
Was.
Probably still is. He's probably on like paid leave. But is interesting because one of the stories that came from this entire thing was the fact that he was very adamant that you had to be focused on your job, no social media, don't be screwing around. This is your job. Get it right, get it done. And it turns out that one of these two people royally screwed up by giving Warren Beatty the wrong envelope. It was the duplicate envelope for Best Actress when it should have been one of the two envelopes, both of them having the correct answer, for Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the catch. Here's the other thing, too, to that story, is that Brian's social media, I think he was on Instagram, was absolutely chock full of photos from behind the scenes of the Oscars. And again,
breaking his own rules.
yeah, exactly.
Don't
right?
be distracted.
Exactly. So, like, how much of a fuck up do you have to be to ruin an 89-year-old business relationship?
And would it not make sense to have the envelope labeled, this is the award category on the front of the envelope, so that when you open it up, it's the right one? They may be doing that in the future, I think.
Maybe. I don't know. There's got to be a new system, but, I mean, apparently either they're not going to work with Price Waterhouse Coopers anymore, or they're just not going to have these two people behind the scenes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like, it was like, I felt bad for Warren Beatty and Annette Bening because they were really getting...
Faye Dunaway.
Was it Faye Dunaway?
Yeah.
I said Annette Bening, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it was wrong, but I didn't know the right answer, so
Faye
I held
Dunaway.
off until I saw it.
Was it down there? It is.
Yeah.
Faye Dunaway. Okay, so, sorry, Annette Bening, Faye Dunaway. It was like social media was just jumping all over Warren Beatty and then jumping all over Faye Dunaway. But Warren Beatty knew there was something wrong, and Faye Dunaway, like, just doing what she did, which was reading
Shoot
the card.
first, ask questions later.
Exactly. Like, they're not supposed to fact check.
No, that everything should be done by the time it gets to them, but there's one guy in Hollywood at least that has a bit of a head on his shoulders that realized, hey, that's not right.
Yeah, and that was Warren Beatty. At least at that very moment. So anyway, it was, what was the movie that won?
The one that won was Moonlight,
Moonlight.
but it was announced as La La Land.
That's right. And a credit to Ryan Gosling, he caught on immediately, and there's pictures of him kind of sheepishly laughing to the side. Meanwhile, poor Emma Stone was just beside herself, like trying to figure out what the hell just happened. I mean, she did get Best Actress. right? But still, I mean, that's tough. Anyway, it's just social
it's a cruel
media.
business.
Yeah, it is. Social media being social media.
I think there may have been, just looking at that list, there may have been more. Was Casey Affleck won Best Actor?
Yeah, they were really hard on him. Gee, I wonder why. Could have been that whole thing about him being an absolute douche nozzle a couple of years ago, but whatever. I mean, for crying out loud, Hacksaw Ridge won, and that was directed by Mel Gibson. Directed?
Back in the game.
Oh yeah, look, he won another one too. Best sound. Was that best sound mixing? And is both of them best sound mixing? How does that make sense?
I don't know.
The other thing
Apparently the Jews in Hollywood are very forgiving.
I guess. The other thing that was a bit of a surprise was best makeup went to Suicide Squad. And I think, it was best makeup went to Suicide Squad, and a lot of people were like, let me try to find it here. Best.
I could see them winning most makeup.
Most makeup. Well, actually, no, they were kind of jumped on for that one. Winner. That's right. Star Trek Beyond was in that same category. Now you have Suicide Squad with the Joker, Harley Quinn, Killer Croc, all that stuff, and then you have Star Trek Beyond with legit aliens.
Yeah, I suppose.
I suppose.
I actually don't think I've seen any of the movies that won Oscars.
Yeah, me neither.
Like, just looking at the list, like none of those is familiar.
Hacksaw Ridge, Moonlight, Suicide Squad, La La Land.
Most of them I hadn't even heard of until last Monday morning. Or
Star Trek Beyond.
Whatever. 2 Monday mornings ago?
2 Monday mornings ago? Last Monday morning.
Last Monday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lobster. I'm just rattling off
The
movies.
Lobster?
Yeah, The Lobster was a movie that was in. It didn't win, but it was in one of the categories. Best original screenplay, I think.
Oui.
You want to know the premise behind The Lobster?
No, the one I'm making up my mind about Sebastian. No, he's a crab. Sebastian's brother-in-law.
I guess. Yeah.
Under the sea.
So, I haven't seen any of these movies either, honestly. And of all the movies I would have seen, would have been Suicide Squad, and that one for best makeup. So I'll watch it on Netflix.
It'll be on Netflix soon enough. Well, I just tipped my hand that it's getting late.
We're almost done. Obama was furious over accusations of him wiretapping Donald Trump. This is the world we live in, where Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, just went on some sort of weird whatever and went to Twitter and, quote, said, "Terrible, just found out that Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower just before the victory. Nothing found. This is McCarthyism." Okay, first of all, what the fuck is McCarthyism?
I think it's got something to do with the Nixon era.
Okay.
Like basically a witch hunt, I believe.
McCarthyism is the practice of making accusations of subversion or treason without proper regard of evidence.
So basically, McCarthyism is Donald Trump tweeting.
Yeah. He just called himself out.
Maybe he's saying this tweet is McCarthyism. What he's really doing is distracting people from what he's really doing.
He could be pointing nukes at Canada right now, and we don't know because he's being a bloody idiot on Twitter.
Well, it's the new way, like the old baby brother trick where you throw a ball up with your left hand, and while he's watching that come down, you fling one with the right hand right in the beans. He's almost 30 years old. He still falls for it. But that's basically what Trump's doing with his Twitter. He's throwing up these tweets in the air.
Yeah.
And he's going to kick someone in the nuts without them even seeing it coming.
Oh,
he's smarter than people give him credit for.
That or
I think. Either that or I'm going to find out at the end that I was just wrong all along.
Oh, geez. So there's so many things wrong with this entire situation. There is no evidence behind any suggestion that Obama had any wires tapped or phone calls recorded at Trump Tower. And besides all that, like, you know what, there's Philip DeFranco did a wonderful job at explaining all of this, and there's so many different things that are wrong with this entire situation. But on top of all of that, so what? Obama is out of office. His team is no longer in power or have any sort of control whatsoever. Like, Donald Trump continues to just bash Barack Obama and bash Hillary Clinton. Like, for crying out loud, you fucking won.
Yeah, somebody needs to tell him that the election is over. Although people are constantly telling him that. I really, and it's just got me because I just said all he's doing is distracting us from what's really going on. And then I get into it by saying, well, he needs to, but no, he doesn't need to do anything. He needs to keep doing what he's doing because it's working. Whatever he's got going on behind the scenes is going to be a hell of a lot bigger than calling what Obama didn't do, but he says he did.
Yeah.
McCarthyism. Like, Trump is going to do something.
Yeah.
And it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to see it coming because he be tweeting.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so then one of the big things that Donald Trump was going on was he was going to abolish Obamacare, or for the people who are not as well informed or the Americans who are a little too naive, Obamacare is the same damn thing as the American Care Act. It's not different. Don't brag that you don't want Obamacare because you're covered on American Care Act. It's the same damn thing. So anyway, Trump is saying that he wants to get rid of Obamacare with quote unquote Trump Care. And so he rolled out the plan for Trump Care, and it's basically Obama Light. It is a trimmed down version of what Barack Obama had put into place. And
it costs less because you get less.
Exactly. But it's worse because he seems Donald Trump has seemed to have pissed off people on both sides now. It seems as the people who loved Obamacare are upset because you're getting less, and the people who hated Obamacare don't like Trump Care because it's actually become more restrictive. You can no longer, if this comes into play, Americans can no longer try to get or successfully get health insurance in different states. They are now locked in. And there's a whole bunch of other restrictions. So again, it's just kind of a hodgepodge, write it down with some crayons and then throw it out the door and say you got a president. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that was an election promise that somebody else in his party or whatever, his group that helps run the country, is going to be dealing with while he's on whatever he's distracting us from with Twitter.
Yeah, no shit.
Keep an eye on that guy.
So it just, it's just insane as to the crap that just keeps coming out of Donald Trump's brain, honestly, or lack thereof. I don't know what the hell's in that space in between his ears. Like, he's got to have something going on. That, or he is the epitome of failing upward. There have been many celebrities now who have said that Donald Trump has actually lowered the bar and proved that you don't need to have political experience or background to get into office.
No, you don't, obviously, to get into office, but let's see what comes of this, because the evil genius, he's either the evil genius or everybody else is right and he's some kind of idiot.
Yeah.
But I nobody heard it here first.
Yeah.
He's up to something.
Last thing I want to talk about is
Like that cat clock in The Simpsons with the shifty eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Or the goldfish from South Park. The one that goes
Yes.
around killing people. Last thing I want to touch on is video games. I mean, I've been getting a lot of information coming out right now. If you go to TheMediaJack on YouTube, you'll see that there's official gameplay trailers and footage for the Shattered Alliances, which is the basic storyline that goes through Injustice 2, as well as they released footage for Dr. Fate and Black Canary. We watched that last time. And Warner Brothers dropped a great teaser sampling of Middle-earth Shadow of War, which is a sequel to Shadow of Mordor. Have you played that game?
No.
Okay. We're going to have to add that to the list of games I need to expose you to, because I have that on the PlayStation. And it's a lot of fun.
Gotcha.
It's unique because every time you boot up the game and you start a new game, you can do it like dozen, 20, 100 times. And the enemies you face will be different every single time. It's called a nemesis system. And what it does is it randomly generates from this pool of thousands of orcs their positions, their ranks, their skills, their names, their abilities. And then it kind of shows you on this like kind of like a tournament ladder type thing of who's in charge, and then their lower ranks, and then their lower ranks, and then their lower ranks. And then as you weed your way through their ranks and either kill, eliminate, convince, or make them a turncoat, things constantly shift and change. At some point in time, you could have all the figureheads underneath your power, or all the figureheads dead, but there's lower ranks ready to move up. And it's really cool to see. The storyline, I mean, it's a typical Lord of the Rings type storyline. I'm not saying it's boring, I'm just saying it's what you would expect.
Yeah.
The gameplay is pretty cool too. So this one here, the new one, the Shadow of War, is actually looking to be more the same, which is, to me, good, because they really redefined the battle, as well as, like, I just really enjoy the Nemesis system. It's different. It's neat. It's definitely creative.
Dynamic, kind of.
Yeah.
Not like the original Mario Brothers, where
The princess is in another
you
castle.
can walk through it in your sleep because
Exactly.
it's the same every time you play.
Yeah.
Something's always different.
What we're watching here is them trying to destroy the One Ring, which is, of course, is what the entire universe is based around, right? So that's Calamendor, I believe. Calibrendor. He's the one that created the One Ring. And then you are the other gentleman there. That's, yeah, the names escape me.
And then all of these different people and mutants throughout this are the ones that you come across in your travels.
Exactly. Right. And they're the ones who, like I said, in that little challenge, in that little tournament-esque type ladder system, these orcs, you'll eventually come across them and decide if you want to kill them. Yeah, decide if you want to kill them or make them turncoat. Like, you can control their mind, right? And then you can make them go and gain that guy's trust, or go kill that one guy over there, or go and start a feud here. And so it's so many different ways you could attack it. So we play as that one main character there. And you have to forgive me because I can't remember his name.
Quite all right. I'm not even familiar with the story of the Lord of the Rings. I know there's a ring. And there's,
Bad guys.
everybody
good guys.
wants it.
Sauron. That's the ring.
And there's some funny looking creatures in it.
Yes. So the video game, gameplay reveal March 8th.
Which is
Tomorrow. No, wait, it's 2015.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. 2 years from now.
2 years from
From now.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
That's
yeah. It's a long tease.
It's a slow build. The other thing that's coming up is Lego City Undercover. And we're going to get a copy of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I enjoy the Lego games.
Yeah. We still haven't had a chance to play Lego Dimensions together, but this one is, I think it's just a self-contained game. You don't have to buy the little characters. You just have to go through the game and discover and learn and
Like most of the rest of the Lego games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Break shit.
Within the next couple of days, actually, our copy of that will come in the mail.
Nice.
And then you and I can sit down and have fun with that one. Beyond that, the only other thing that I have going or coming up is...
I totally thought you were going somewhere else with that.
Square Enix. Square Enix. Oh, it's not showing up here. Okay, so Square Enix, the same company behind Final Fantasy and many other different games, are coming out with a racing game, off-road racing game called Grind. It's still, like, it's not even in beta right now.
It's not even showing up on the internet.
It's not even.
It doesn't even exist.
Well, it does exist. Well, at least at this point in time.
If Google can't find it, it's not real.
But they've been sending me a couple of emails and some information coming out, a couple of screenshots. It looks kind of neat, and I'm definitely intrigued to see what Square Enix is going to come up with. Because, like, when I think of that company, I don't think of racing games.
Mm-hmm.
I think of chocobos and fucking Final Fantasy and stuff like that, right?
It's similar to if I see EA Games, as you know, like EA Sports is a department of EA Games.
Yeah.
And I just don't think of them making anything other than sports games.
Exactly. So I don't think I'm going to be able to find the email in time. Was that it? That was not it. PAX is come and gone. Blah blah blah. Still taking Japanese lessons. Had one last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Because I know you missed one.
Yeah, I did. I missed one a little while ago. And
in the midst of your sideshow.
Yeah. There it is. Grind. Found it. Gravel. That's why.
You had grind on your mind.
Grind on my mind. See if I can find gravel.
That makes more sense.
Introducing Gravel, the ultimate off-road experience. Some of these look like a mess. That's a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Here we go. I asked them to keep me up to date with anything that's going on. They've sent me a couple of screenshots. I mean, it looks good. I'm not complaining there, but like I said, it's not even in beta mode right now. So, like, it looks like a decent racing game. Clearly, they need to work on some of the textures because, like, those tires look like they're made out of plastic.
Well, yeah, the cars also look like they're like those buggies that you get from Lowe's.
Yeah,
that are just supposed to look like a race car, but it's just a buggy.
Yeah,
looks like that.
So
needs to be cleaned up a little bit.
A bit. They need to rough it up, make it look a little bit more.
But if they don't even have a release day for it yet, then August. So what are we in March now? 5 months. So I got 5 months to clean it up.
Where are you reading August?
Right beside your cursor. This
August.
game comes out in August.
Wow. Well,
I was very good at word searches as a kid. Still am. But I'm that kind of nerd. So while people are still trying to find whatever, I've already found it and moved on to the next.
We might not get much more of a polished game. Look at this. The game's racing is more arcade-focused, takes place around the world in wide-open checkpoint races, door-banging circuits, and inside stadiums filled with spectacular jumps.
Like a cruise in USA?
Kind of, and that's when I see arcade in a video game description.
Then this is what we're going to get.
Yeah. You know, because like Gran Turismo and Forza are simulation games.
Yeah.
Whereas Cruis'n USA is an arcade game.
Yeah. Or that one where you used to actually sit in the cars when you're at an arcade.
San Francisco Rush.
Yeah, that one too. There's another one I'm thinking of. I can't remember.
Test Driver?
I don't know. The one where you're in a stock car.
Oh, Daytona.
Yeah. That's the one I'm thinking of.
That's a good game.
That was.
And you could totally wreck one
They
of those
still
cars.
have that at the billiards place in town.
Oh, no way. Nicholson?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Daytona.
That's cool.
That's what it looked like anyways.
Yeah. That was a good game, too. I remember playing that way too many times. That and Test Drive. It wasn't Test Driver. It was Test Drive. And it was like square, oblong shaped cars, and you're on a track. You can go up the stunt track or you can go down the speed track. And I thought it was just like hammer the gas pedal and off you go. But I figured out as I became older that no, use the clutch, use the shifter. And the whole point of the game was to safely make it through checkpoints in the game. It wasn't a speed race. It was actually just a skills race. You ever played that?
I don't think so.
No? I'll have to find it for you sometime. Yes, I want to leave that page down. All right, we're going to wrap this up.
All right.
Well, episode 399 of The Flipside, the online podcast. Eventually I'll get the title and the intro correct.
Yeah, here we are on the internet. Live, days before you hear this. Months, years probably.
Years.
Someone's going to find that. It'll be like ancient Greece where they find artifacts and they're going to think that this is how people entertain themselves.
Well, they're not wrong.
No, but people in the future are going to be sorely disappointed by the past.
Probably right.
Well, just like when we found out that Egyptians worshipped cats.
Yeah.
Ancient Egyptians, yeah. Ancient Canadians made podcasts. Sorry, future.
Only the smart ones. Only the smart and good-looking ones. They're the ones who made podcasts.
Yeah, that's why we're hiding behind microphones.
Thanks for helping me out.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
There's a
Little callback. Hey-oh.
Jesus.
But yeah, thanks. It was
I'm
good.
JD. You can follow me on Twitter at TheMediaJack.
Oh, we didn't do that yet. I'm Ryan at RyanMiles66.
We introduced ourselves at the beginning.
We did, but we didn't do the Twitter thing. We used to do that
All the time.
all the time.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
it actually kind of got annoying. Once is enough.
There you go. Well, there you go.
Everybody gets one.
You can download the show either on iTunes or Blogspot, or, of course, you can watch it on YouTube and help us out with that big YouTube money. And on that note, like, share, and subscribe, and you can catch us next time.